Hello 201 students. This video is going to hopefully walk you through our Canvas site and our syllabus, as well as give a very brief overview of the major assignments so that you know what this 4-week term will bring your way. Please don't hesitate to bring any questions to my attention at any point. One of the things that can be difficult for students in an online class, especially if it's the first one you're taking, is that you don't have the benefit of sitting in a room with a bunch of other students while the professor goes through these kinds of things and then raising your hand if you have a question, or perhaps having a peer raise their hand with a question that you also had and hence it's answered. So I'm available to you. Please let me know if you have questions. Okay, so let's get started. This is our homepage. What I've done here is set it up into modules, which is just like a fancy name for containers, so that each week has its own container, and in that container I have put links for everything that you need to pay attention to for that week. Okay? So I'll talk more about that in a minute. Let's visit the syllabus for a second just to go through that. And just like I would do if we were meeting face-to-face here, I'm not going to read you the entire syllabus. I know that you can read, but I just want to highlight some major pieces here. So as you know, we've got an asynchronous online course here. What that means is that you will not have to be logged on to Canvas at any particular times. Instead, I've made the work sort of divided by the week, and everything will be due by the end of that week by Sunday at midnight. And so you'll see there's a project each week. There are a number of discussion posts to respond to, and there are also readings to do. So your goal is to just do those by the time the week ends. And that's when I'll start to assess your work. That said, if you respond to discussion posts during the week, I will probably weigh in, as will some of your classmates, on those posts. You have my office phone number here, and you should feel welcome to use that. There will be days of the summer session that I will be in my office and able to answer this phone. However, if you need to speak with me, if you have a question and you think it could be discussed quickly over the phone, you can also email me with your phone number and I will call you from wherever I am, because at some points I might be traveling. We can also make office hours appointments on Google Hangout, via Skype, to talk on the telephone, or if you happen to be in Harrisonburg as well, to talk face-to-face. So do take advantage of it. Don't feel like you're sort of out there by yourself trying to do this course without help. You've got the course description and the course focus and philosophy here to take a look at. Basically, if you've taken the 200 already, you've been introduced to the major components of the WRTC major, that is, and you know a little bit more about the various subdisciplines that are possible to study in this major. And so the 201 is sort of like zoomed in a bit on the kinds of critical questions WRTC practitioners ask and the kind of research they do to find those answers. And so we will read a number of research studies and you'll answer questions about those. And you, at the end of the term, will generate a qualitative research proposal. And so I'll say a bit about that a little later on. There are the learning objectives for the course. You've got the grading scale and the note that you must perform above and beyond to get an A in the class. And here's your final grade distribution. During week 1, you'll do a journal review project, which consists, as you'll see, of a handout and a screencast video. Then you will do a theoretical tracing, and in that project you will hone in on a term or a concept that's come up in your WRTC courses so far, or your thinking, and that you want to learn more about, and you'll do some research on it. Then you've got your research proposal, where you will pose genuine research questions and fit some qualitative methods to those questions. Then you'll take a final exam, which will be cumulative and will cover all of the readings you do over the course of the semester. The final 30% of your grade will be made up of your discussion board participation. So that's all the posts that you add and all of the responses you provide to your peers. Okay, so there are your projects. I've got here accommodations, academic honesty statements that will be familiar to you. and then you get to our schedule. So the nice thing about how I have it set up here is that different due dates and readings are in multiple places. So you'll find it all in the syllabus schedule, but you'll also find what you need to do right here in the modules. And so for this week, you'll want to introduce yourself. And when you get into this one, you'll see that there's a little talking head video that I've made. And this is to show you how easy it is to create a talking head video and to encourage you to do the same. I think you'll find that doing that kind of takes the isolating feeling away from the online class. You get to see and hear your classmates talk. You get to learn a little more about them. And you'll see in my introduce yourself video, I invite you to also use videos if you get sort of burnout of all the typing and alphabetic text for your discussion board posts. So let me just show you how you would do that. If you hit reply to any discussion thread like this one, and then you'll hear me talking about it in this record upload media, it's going to ask you to allow Canvas to access your microphone. So you let it do its thing, and then you see there I am, and you can create a title for it, and then click anywhere, hello everyone, and then you click anywhere to save it, and then your comment will show up like this, and it will look quite a lot like mine once you hit post reply, but we won't actually do that because we don't want that there. So okay, so let's say that you're in week 1. You've watched this video, you have a good sense of where you're heading. So you kind of follow these components in their order. You've introduced yourself. Then you're going to read this article. So if you click on it, it's going to give you the little panda bear riding the bike, and it just means that Canvas is trying to download the PDF for you. And here it is, Coming Full Circle, A Young Teacher's Journey with the Standards Movement. This essay was a huge hit with the spring 2015 section of this course. And so I've chosen to include it here. Students found it engaging, interesting, very readable. So you'll read that, and then once you read that, you go back. You're going to do the same thing with the Kincaid reading. And then you want to know what project you're up for this week. So you'll click the Journal Review project. Here it is. And you'll notice that what you're going to be doing for this project is to be familiarizing yourself with a major journal in WRDC, so that you can share that knowledge with the rest of us. So here's what I'm asking you to do. I have put on this assignment sheet a whole bunch of journals, many of which are available full text through the library. So if you are off campus, you will need to set up a proxy server, and if you need help doing that, you can contact the library. Maybe you already have that set up, but you want to set up off-campus access to the databases so that you can get into these journals. So you want to browse these titles and think, which of these kind of speaks to my interest? So let's say that Community Literacy Journal looked like a good one to me. I would choose that journal for my project, and then I would do these things. So I've selected my journal. I'm going to look through the last, say, 5 years worth of this journal and browse the titles. And I'm going to try to make note of major themes that are happening, as well as identify 2 articles in the journal that I wouldn't mind reading in their entirety. So then I'm going to make a handout, and it can be a simple Word document, or it can be a post in the discussion board. I'm going to put the journal's name, how many years it's been in circulation, their editors, and the institutional affiliations. Then I'm going to talk about the themes and topics that I've seen covered in these last 5 years of issues by browsing the titles and maybe keywords. And then I'm going to offer summaries of the 2 articles I've decided to read and reflect on. And so that's what my handout could entail. If you'd rather, you can instead put your handout into a video or into some other multimodal text like a Prezi. So the output doesn't matter very much to me, so long as it's shareable with your peers, because the goal is that at the end there are 7 of you that you'll all be able to look through quick, useful information about 7 journals in the field. So in order to avoid overlap, as the assignment sheet mentions, you're going to then go to the Journal Review Journal Selection thread. And I say, please post the journal you're planning to review for your project so that we don't have overlap. So quite simply, I could put this is the one I'm doing, and then I would hit post reply. Again, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to mess up your discussion board there. And then at the end of the week, when it's time to hand it in, and you see it's due by May 24th at 11:59 p.m., right around midnight, then I'm going to hit reply and put my stuff in. So if I've made a Word document, I can simply attach it here by choosing File, and then let's just see, just as an example, there's some articles I'm working on. So I could put it there. You see that it uploaded. So you want to make sure you can see it there. And this is the little X, take it away. So I'm going to take it away and then hit post reply. So let's say you've done those things. The last couple of things that you need to do for this week is to respond to discussions based on those readings. So I'm asking you to consider, please answer the following in your post and respond thoughtfully to 2 peers' posts. So during the week, or even if you don't get to it till Sunday, you want to make sure that you look at other people's responses and give them some feedback. But at minimum, here, you want to answer, what does the author realize after her first year of teaching, and what does she say was her error in judgment? How does she reconcile her desire to follow standards with her desire to be a great teacher, a better educator, and what experiences have you had with standards in education? So you respond to those things. Again, you can easily type the answers to your questions, 1, my answer, 2, my answer, 3, my answer, or you can upload a short video in which you talk through your answers, and that could be an interesting way to handle it. So that'll be up to you. Then you want to do the same thing with the Kincaid reading. And after you've done all of that, you have completed all of the work for week 1. So as long as you do all of those things by May 24th, you are 25% done the class, which I think should make you feel pretty good. Okay, so hopefully now you understand sort of the flow of these modules and how they're set up. Notice in week 4, you're only working on your last project, and I don't think that you'll need to do a tremendous amount of studying for the final exam, because you'll have all of your posts to draw on where you have demonstrated what you learned from those readings. You'll also have access to all of your peers' comments on them, so you'll really spend the tail end of the course working on that qualitative research proposal. Let's take a peek before I end here at the rest of your assignments, and I'll just go briefly through them and of course give you more information as they come up. So in week 2, you will be working on a theoretical tracing project. This project is meant to be fun and interesting for students and not tremendously tedious or taxing, but in order to make it that way, you really have to focus on choosing something that you are really genuinely interested in. So you can pick a concept that you have come across in your WRDC coursework. So let's say you've taken your 200 and there's a word that always comes up like ethos or usability or pathos or something maybe less of a single term, but something like process theories or public writing or the post process or post-critical. It can be really anything that's come up. Some students choose to do something, for example, like creative nonfiction. They want to know more about what that is and where it came from. Whatever your term is, your job during the week that you work on this project is to do some research on where it came from and where it's gone and where it is now. So it's sort of just a straight trajectory of the term. So choosing well, something that really does make you interested, is key to your success. So what you'll prepare for this, I think, is very detailed instructions, but again, like the other projects, you can certainly tell me if something is confusing. You're going to offer a 4 to 6 page double-spaced 1-inch margin Times New Roman 12-point font essay. So that gives you a sense, even if you hate that format, of how many words I'm thinking here. And you're going to offer us a sense of where the term originated, where it has been, and where it's going. Do arrange it chronologically and includes strong transitions as well as creative connections. Then you want to make a visual representation of that tracing so that your peers could better understand the term if they were to look at your work. But the visual is entirely up to you. You could use an infographic, make a video, make a prezi, and then you want to show the rest of us the research you did. So in the further reading section, use either an MLA works cited format, or you can instead simply include hyperlinks in your paper to those sources. So that's that assignment. And last but certainly not least is the qualitative research proposal. And so